I'm gonna beat Hades as fast as I possibly can without a cast, while using a cast weapon. You might be wondering why I'm doing this, and in order for you to understand, I have to tell you a story. A story about the time I embarrassed myself in front of thousands of people on the internet. Games Done Quick, or GDQ, is a series of charity marathons that raises millions of dollars each year by showcasing speedrunners and their incredible talents. And in between their main events, GDQ has an excellent lineup of shows, like Game Masters, hosted by fans. And this is where our story begins. So we were doing an all-weapons relay race, which in Hades speedrunning terms means that there are 2 teams with 6 runners, 1 for each weapon in the game, and the first team to complete a run with all 6 weapons wins. I was playing Hera, the cast bow, for Team Blow High Blast. The teams were neck and neck going into my run, so I knew I needed to eke out any advantage I could to get ahead. I was offered an Athena boon in Tartarus, which can be really good since Divine Dash is one of the best boons for Hera, but she didn't offer it, and I had to settle for her special attack, which I was never going to use, and it would make it less likely that any palms of power I picked up would hit my cast. So I wanted to sell it. After I finished Tartarus, I opened the sell well, and no! I accidentally clicked twice and sold my cast, meaning I had no damage. Oh, and right afterwards, in a moment of hubris, or maybe it was tilt, I took an attack curse from Chaos. So I died, incurring a 10-second death penalty. Then I died again, and again, and again, and one final time in the Hades fight, just in case I wasn't already embarrassed enough. Did I mention that by now, thousands of people have seen this race? It really hurts to relive that one. So let's do the only sensible thing to make me feel better. You mean moving on, knowing that it was only a moment in time, immediately forgotten by most people, and does not in any way reflect on your worth as a human being? No way! I'm gonna beat Hades as fast as possible without using a cast on Hera the Bow. Let's get started. Since we won't be picking up a cast boon, the best keepsake for me to use is going to be the Shattered Shackle from Sisyphus, as it will give me an extra 100% damage on my cast, which is great because the base cast only does 50 damage. I also chose the Flurry Shot Hammer, which could be considered a mistake on this run. You see, I'm used to using Crush Shot from Aphrodite, because not only does it have really high base damage, the cast also drops immediately if I miss an enemy, making it relatively easy to manage the location of all my cast stones while in combat. But without Crush Shot, missing an enemy means my cast will continue to sail off into the distance. But don't worry, I have a plan for that. In Chamber 5, I found a Chaos Portal, which is great because without a cast boon, Chaos will be one of the best ways to increase my damage. They offered me an extra cast stone in exchange for taking damage when I attack, but so long as I'm a little more careful, there won't be any embarrassing deaths like I had in the race. In Chamber 9, I found another Chaos Portal in the well, and the next room was a survival room, which pauses the in-game timer, the main method we use for speedrun timings. This Tartarus was looking pretty fast. We got another cast stone from Chaos, and managed to find a Braid of Atlas before heading into the Furious fight. At this point, I was surprised by how much damage I was able to put together, but that's exactly the kind of luck we were going to need to go fast. Speaking of fast, we took care of Electo in under 2 minutes in-game time. That's mega fast. I found another cast in the well between biomes, so that's 6 total casts to help me deal with Asphodel. In the mid shop, I picked up an Artemis boon, which was really exciting because I already had Poseidon, so now I had the prerequisite boons to find Mirage Shot. Then, the mid-boss offered me Snowburst from Demeter, which is by far the most powerful support boon for Hera. I don't think I could have dreamed up a more ideal build than what was happening here. Oh, and the final 2 rooms in Asphodel were Eurydice and a Fountain. 2 of the fastest rooms available. With all these casts, the Braid we still had from the end of Tartarus, and Snowburst, Larny was no match for our damage. and I managed to get through this fight in just about 3 minutes 30 seconds in-game time. If you aren't familiar with the speedrun, that time, in relation to the restrictions I put on myself, is absolutely absurd. On the way into Elysium, I found another braid, which is great, because the one from Tartarus was just about to run out of charges, and after clearing out a few chariots in the first chamber of Elysium, I was rewarded with greater recall from Hermes. Now, my cast stones will automatically return to me, meaning I can focus on enemies without needing to waste my time picking up my casts. And it came right on time because Elysium is notorious for having giant combat arenas where you can easily lose your casts forever if you're not careful. Then in the mid shop, I got Mirage Shot. Outside of crits, it's the only way to get a multiplicative damage increase on your casts. I had a quick chat with my friends Achilles and Patroclus. Then Than said hi too. I dealt with a few tiny chariots and armored witches, and then it was on to the boss of Elysium, Theseus and Asterius. This is the first time I actually felt significantly underpowered compared to a typical Hera speedrun. Hera already has trouble dealing with the heroes because your cast stones get stuck in the enemies and you often have to rely on attack damage while you're waiting for them to pop out, but I still managed to take them out in a fairly respectable 16-second fight. Tidal Dash helped out a ton in Styx by supplementing my cast, and I found pressure points, meaning my casts can finally crit, sometimes. Then it was on to the final foe, Hades. All of my braids of Atlas and Prometheus stones had worn off by then, but with the help of Mirage Shot, pressure points, and those extra cast stones from Chaos, I still had pretty okay damage for the fight. And if you'll forgive me getting sappy for a second, I know I'm framing this as a redemption story for myself, but that's really all just for fun. The thing I'm most proud of after screwing up so badly in a big race like that is that I actually didn't lose my cool, and I played to the best of my ability in the moment under the strangest circumstances possible. I mean, at the end of the race, the two teams only finished a few seconds apart. It was a real nail-biter. But if you want to find out who won, you gotta go watch it yourself. I'll link it in the description. Oh, neat. 6 minutes and 41 seconds in game time. That's 21st place on the Hera leaderboards, and only about a minute slower than my actual PB. Redemption!